Hello everyone, and welcome back to DMG. Today I have a lovely side-of-the-road coincidental surprise for you. Now, as a bit of backstory, I don't live with my family, I live at boarding school. I was driving home to see my family for a few days, and, along the way, I see a computer by the side of the road, and I pick it up. Now here is aforementioned computer, and I also found it with its matching LCD monitor. Now I will say, don't leave your old computer by the side of the road. Take it to a proper recycling place or give it to someone who can use it. I'm very glad I found this one. But that aside, let's get into this system. Now I actually have the speaker set, the keyboard, and the mouse that match this system. I don't have any of those here at home, but I'm glad I can finally, complete my set. Now this Dimension 2400 is a prime example of an early 2000s computer. Because remember, from the first personal computers through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you could get them in any shape and any color you want, as long as the shape was a rectangle and the color was beige. So in the early 2000s, like late 90s and early 2000s, computer manufacturers really started to branch out to try and make their systems look a little less boring. And that's where you get this curvy gray and black aesthetic that really dates this era of computers to the early 2000s. So this is very much a relic of its time. Now right here it says Dimension 2400 around the power button, so that's our model. Here we've got our power LED and our hard disk LED. The hard drive LED, let me show you. It's a little farther away from the power button than the power LED is. I don't know why, that just bothers me. This system is very, oh, Jesus, that's very dusty and it smells a bit odd too. Here we've got a Windows XP sticker and a Celeron. So this is definitely a lower cost computer, because remember, this is when PCs started to get pretty cheap. You could just go to your local store and pick up a decent usable system like this for just a couple $100. Let me turn it around here. On the back, we've got a power supply that I hope works. PS2 keyboard and mouse. That's funny, it uses a Nidec Beta 5 fan. That's actually what some of my servers use, so we're gonna get good cooling, hopefully. Serial, onboard VGA, parallel, 4 USB ports on the back, plus the 2 on the front. Onboard LAN, I bet that's 10100, and headphone, microphone, line in. And here, that is a modem, I bet it's 56K. And yeah, let's open it up. Is that, I've never worked on one of these. That's how. Nice and dusty. And here's the inside. Immediately I'm a little bit disappointed because we don't have an AGP slot. That was a thing that was really kind of common in this era of cheap computers. Unfortunately, like, manufacturers would make a board, but just not solder the AGP slot on it. So I guess that onboard VGA is our only option unless we want to put a PCI video card in. Here we've got, there's our modem card. Not going to take that out yet, although I eventually will because I don't have a use for it. We have a single RAM stick, just 2 slots. You are a 512 megabyte DDR. So this is a socket 472, I believe, a socket 472 board. Here is our floppy drive and our CD-ROM, of course. Here's our hard disk. I bet that is a 40 gig WD caviar. If that is anything but a 40 gig WD caviar, I will be very surprised. Yeah, here's our CPU duct. That's very funny. That is very much the same fan as my servers use. Does this just... Yep, there's our little Celeron. So with that all clipped together, let's plug it into the monitor and boot it up. I do want to go over this monitor really quickly though, because it is interesting. Now I bet this is a 1366 by 768 monitor, it's VGA. The system also would have been offered with a CRT, but I guess the previous owner opted for the LCD, which is neat. Here we've got two USB ports on the side and two USB ports on the bottom, and then the USB-A port that you would then, USB-B, that you would then plug into your computer to run those other ports. No, that is USB-A. Then you have DVI and VGA, and I'll of course be using VGA. Then your IEC power jack. Then you have this weird plug labeled audio, and it's a power jack, and it's labeled DC 12 volts. Now I don't know if this monitor has internal speakers or if the audio jack is like something that you would plug into your external speakers so that they could be powered off the monitor. I think that's what that's for. Anyway, let's get this thing all plugged up. Oh, also, according to the sticker here, it has Windows XP Home, so I might not be able to get too far since I don't know the password or the previous owners. I did see a couple bulging caps on the motherboard, so I don't know if this will work, but whoops. But here goes nothing. I'm gonna plug it in. I've got it plugged into its monitor. Again, I don't quite know if it will... Oh. Well, that answers that question. It very much does work. Well, that's fantastic. Wow, I really didn't expect this thing to work. That's fantastic. So, yeah, it's recognizing our CD-ROM and our hard disk. CMOS battery is dead, as I would expect. Let's go into setup so I can hopefully see what clock speed this processor is. Does it not recognize my keyboard? No, it doesn't recognize my keyboard. Let's plug it into a different USB port. It doesn't seem to recognize my keyboard. So let's turn it off and turn it back on again. Oh, well, okay. I was trying to get into setup, but that works too. Oh, sweet. Oh, this takes me back. December 2003 calendar. We've owner's manual. Is that the owner's manual for this computer? Ooh, setting wallpaper. Oh, there must be a program that automatically changes the wallpaper, like when the computer starts. Adobe Reader 6. And now we've got a new low-res wallpaper. Sweet. Yeah, here's our, oh, that's awesome. So here's our service manual. Or, sorry, user manual, I suppose. CD or DVD volume control dial. We don't have that. That sucks. Property damage, personal injury, or death. I don't think this computer has the potential to cause any of those. Unless you use it very, very, very wrong. That's pretty funny. Okay, let's see what programs we have running in the background. Oh wow, our CPU actually isn't getting used too much, but our RAM's already half full. So I think I have some DDR, I'll upgrade that. We've got iPodService.exe, Apple mobile device, so I think this has iTunes on it. iTunes helper, yeah, so it has iTunes. and intelmem.exe. Let's see. New programs. Ooh, what new programs do we have? Does this have any games? WordPerfect. Games? No, it's all just the default games. That's sad. Funny that this didn't have a password. I'm very glad. Oh, so here is our wallpaper changer. I think I might copy that program to an external hard drive because I kind of like it. I'm gonna wipe this whole thing because I don't need all of the stuff on here. I in fact don't want all of the stuff on here. Yeah, we got a 40 gig hard drive, probably a Caviar. Let me check control panel for that. We have Intel Extreme Graphics. Wow. What are you? Okay, so it's just the chipset graphics controller. This is actually a pretty speedy little system. We have a 2.4 gigahertz Celeron and 512 megs of RAM. This is Windows XP Home Service Pack 2. We'll go to Device Manager and check some stuff out. WDC WD400BB. Yep, 40 gig Caviar. What did I say? There's a lot of stuff running in the background here. Ooh, Music Match Jukebox. What music is on here? I'd like to listen to some tunes. No. Leonard Skinner Freebird. Sweet. There's not too much music on here, unfortunately, but I bet these are mostly CD rips. Yeah, WordPerfect 12. That is amazing. So I'm not going to do too much poking around. That's where I'm going to shut down the system because I don't want to be too nosy in other people's personal files, obviously. That's another reason you don't want to leave your computer by the side of the road, especially with the hard drive still in it. Especially if you don't have a password and are running Windows XP. Literally anyone can just open your stuff. I'm actually starting to consider keeping this system as is, because it's just such a throwback, such a time machine for me. Because, you know, this is the era in which I grew up. Just looking at, first of all, this old version of iTunes, but then all these songs that I recognize. It's amazing. And the audio output from this computer is actually pretty clear. I plugged in some little IEMs so I could have a listen. There's not any hissing or crackling, which for onboard audio in a cheap consumer grade PC of this era, it's pretty impressive that there's no noticeable distortion. But that out of the way, I thought we might as well test just how extreme those Intel Extreme graphics are. So I'm gonna play some Unreal Tournament, or at least try to. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna set this to 1024 by 768. Save the .ini and run the program. We'll see just how extreme these Intel Extreme graphics are. I'm actually pretty excited to see how this does. Well, so far the opening scene seems to be running just fine. here goes. This is actually not as bad as I was thinking it was. This is on the maximum settings, and clearly the maximum settings are not ideal. Okay, maybe this is not quite playable. I'm not claiming I'm a master at this game, but usually I'm a little better when I can see what's going on. So let me, well, I'll just put the settings down to medium here. Yeah, on the integrated graphics, if you're gonna play Unreal Tournament, it runs incredibly smoothly at medium settings. Oh, it's noticeably blurry though, so this is why I prefer the high settings. So, you know, don't recommend the integrated graphics for any sort of gaming, unless you're doing DOS gaming, that sort of thing. They can do 3D, just not particularly well. I'm honestly impressed, though. I didn't expect it to run this at all. I didn't think it would support the necessary DirectX version. Again, I am very pleasantly surprised by what this little system can do. I should go into Task Manager and check our CPU usage, see just what kind of load this is putting on our Celeron here. Oh, a lot. It's putting quite a lot of load on our Celeron. Okay, so that may in fact be the bottleneck instead of the graphics. So yeah, when I install a Pentium 4 in here, that'll be a different video, I'll see just how much better Unreal Tournament performs on this little Dell Dimension. Again, I'm quite glad that I picked this up. It's been a very nice throwback to, you know, computers that I grew up using. And I haven't had a working socket 478 board up until, well, yesterday. And even though this one doesn't have AGP, and I still want a board with AGP, it'll be very nice to be able to test those early Pentium 4s as well, because I currently only am equipped to use the LGA 775 Pentium 4s. The later Pentium 4 HT, Pentium D, those chips. Okay. Yeah, it gets a little stuttery when there's a lot on screen, and again, I feel like that's more down to the Celeron than the Intel Extreme graphics. Let me check our CPU usage here. Oh, yeah, again, that's all down to the Celeron, and I am gonna upgrade our RAM to probably 1 GB, because I feel like I want to keep this system as is. I'll just delete like the personal files and the personal photos and stuff, but I love the rest. I love the automatic changing wallpaper. I love the awesome early iTunes. So yeah, I'll just get rid of the stuff I don't want and keep the rest. But that is going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Hope this was enjoyable. And yeah, subscribe and stay tuned to the channel if you want to see me upgrade this computer in a coming video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.